What? And I'm going to give you one opportunity because we're friends.
Winner! Who gives a shit about where the ball's been?
Yeah, F him. They went from loving this guy, best move ever, to hating him.
I think it's the most ridiculous thing in the world.
I love it because it tells you how the game was played.
There's nowhere for him to go. Literally, I think there's one place.
You can't do that in the national team.
Those things that are absolutely insane.
Successful and sexy? No. It wasn't aggravating at times? Yes.
Sorry,
That's not very fair.
It's not about being fair.
Welcome to the greatest soccer show ever.
Well, hey! Welcome to the weekly recap from We Are Soccer. It's about time we had some fun here. Preseason tour is, all the tours are wrapping up. We got 2 weeks left until our favorite domestic leagues are kicking off. U.S. men's national team may or may not have sent an offer sheet to a currently employed coach. We're going to talk about that. Pellegrino Mattarazzo, correct? Incorrect? What are your thoughts on that? Is he a good coach? We got some differentiating thoughts here in the room. All right, lots to get to. U.S. women's national team advance. But they only win 1-0, and people are still griping. It's the Olympics. Who knows? U.S. men's national team do not advance. Bounced by Morocco, powerhouse Morocco, and bounced thoroughly from the Olympics. We're going to get to that. We got a lot to get to. By the way, did you hear? There's a new Champions League format, and a computer is going to be the one doing the draws. Yeah, absolutely no way of cheating or anything that can happen there. It's all going to be above the board, right? No, we'll get to it. Also, by the way, we're in the new Aston Villa kit, so anybody who's out there, yes, I know you like it. I put a video up the other day of this. I'll have my thoughts on it. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Now, it's not just me, your host, your wonderful, beautiful host, Craig Hearn here. I'm joined by my good friends, Nate, Danny, and Brooks. Boys, how we doing? Doing all right?
You want to take this one?
Yeah, you're kind of quiet over there,
Yeah, I just didn't know who to start. You have Cliffy Clack Notre Dame McGee over here playing on his phone. Hey, millennial, need your attention, please.
Yeah, pay attention over there.
Actually, technically, I'm a millennial as well. So, actually, not even technically, I am a millennial.
Kind of trying to share trying to share the show on all our social media.
Yeah, Cliffy
channels.
Clack.
You know,
You're over there twitting, text.
Do something like that.
Yeah.
What's going on, Nate? You all right?
What up?
buddy?
Yeah.
all right, Grandpa.
Yeah, okay, cool. Bundesliga 2 just kicked off.
That's right.
Woo!
That's right.
What is that?
Watched. It's
What
soccer.
the hell is that?
It's better than the Olympics. What do you want me to do? I have the choice of watching Olympics grass grow BS or actually competitive soccer. What do you want? What do you want from me?
There were some good preseason friendlies on this.
I will not watch preseason friendlies. I don't care about them.
Well, some of us traveled.
Some of us traveled.
Yeah.
this
How'd
week
that
ago.
go for you? Your team hasn't won a game, period. Your team can't even do anything.
We're 0-3 right now
Yeah,
in
great.
USA.
And what does it mean, Craig?
It means absolutely diddly squat.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I know. Danny, you traveled.
Yeah, Danny
did.
traveled with his lady friend, woman, wife, marriage, whatever.
Hey,
Actually spent
Why's he gonna-
7 hours in the car with a bin dipper.
I don't even know what that is. What's a bin
ooh,
dipper?
did you really?
I spent
Ooh.
7 hours in the car with a bin dipper.
So that's
What's a bin
that's a
dipper?
Liverpool fan.
Oh, cool.
yeah,
You know,
it was excruciating pain.
Yeah.
It felt like a rectal exam.
The ride
Wow.
back was probably worse.
No. The greatest thing ever was I flew home today and Jana went back with them. So I didn't have the 7-hour proctor, rectal exam.
but yet you won't drive 7 hours with me.
That sounds
Well,
like
You know,
you haven't offered for me to drive 7 hours with you anywhere.
you haven't asked. I just wish every now and then you would ask me.
when mommy and daddy fight, it gets awkward.
Wait, I have.
Can we take the soundboard from this guy? It's
That
getting too zany.
Shit's annoying. I've got.
Hey, it's zany. Look at us. We're zany.
I've been away a few weeks, right? Yeah, I've been away a few weeks. I'll say
have?
it. Yeah, I've been away a few weeks.
Felt like a few years.
And I've come back.
Yeah.
What's with all this crap?
What crap?
Has he had like hemorrhoid surgery that I don't know about?
Yeah, yes, he is.
Just
why
getting
he's
very
down.
excited about stuff now, and I can't sit down. The seat was actually making a squeaking noise.
Usually when I get excited about stuff, I have to sit down. So if I stand up, people don't see how excited I am.
Or is this a cheap?
Yes.
Is this a cheap Pat McAfee ripoff?
Oh, you nailed it.
Ooh.
Not the first person to say that.
Ooh.
Not the first person to say that.
If Villa
today.
made a tank top or a wife beater, he'd be
He
flying
would
out
totally
in it.
wear it,
He'd
wouldn't
be
he?
flying out in it.
He'd
Probably
have the-
find one, or we can make him
He'd
one.
have,
Buy
the
it.
he'd have the gold chain and he'd be rocking like this.
No, in straight up seriousness, it's like 105 degrees in here.
Yeah, seriously.
This is what they do to like people who like in tournament camps. Basically, is what we're in right now. Craig's in tournament camp for soccer, and Brooks has a hat on. And although everyone at home might be like, "What's the big deal with the hat?" I literally couldn't imagine wearing any piece of voluntarily clothing on. You're lucky I have pants on right now.
You've worn a hat before.
I
during
can't.
the
Yes,
show.
when it wasn't 125 degrees and a billion humidity in the sweat box.
I
that
believe
has
in
no
June.
air.
I believe in June you were wearing a German thing for Euros, and you put your hood up, and it was really, really hot in here.
Not like it is now. Not even close.
What about if we ask our viewers at home if they would like to see us do a show in speedos?
Oh, well, we may get. some-
Just because we're in here.
Yeah, I think. we
Okay,
get-
so
I
you
think
grab
that's-
Jenna's attention, and everyone else has lost focus, and because they're puking right now in the bathroom. Jenna's in. The world is out. You know.
She's gonna kick your ass if you keep calling her Jenna.
Jana.
Jana.
It's
I say Jana sometimes.
Jana. What, like, look,
I
it's
say Jana.
There's an A in there, Nate.
We
It's
do
J.A..
once in a while talk soccer on this show. Just
come on now.
Just saying.
It's been a few weeks.
Pronounce your
You
names
wanna-
right.
You want to talk some
let us-
friendlies?
let us catch
Let's talk
up.
some crap that meant nothing.
Well-
Woo!
well. We've got a couple of friendlies to talk about, but we've also got a potential new U.S. men's national team coach. We'll talk about that.
Hey, all I got to say about that is, remember when you went, there's nobody better. Do you remember my list of names?
Oh, yeah, it was on the list,
He
but
was
I don't
on my
agree
list of
with
names.
it. We'll get to it. We're gonna get
Okay.
to it. We're gonna get to it. All right. Before we do that, Brooks, how are you? Doing all right? You look a little sad and gloom and down today.
No, I'm just mentally preparing for the long college season. These next 3 months of college scouting, MLS Next.
All right.
It's
Okay.
busy weekends.
I get you. So everybody, just pay attention here. There was a side comment a couple weeks ago made by Nate.
Hello.
Yeah, that Nate across the room.
Hi.
And I said, I think I forget even what we were talking about, but I said, I used to be really fast, and I'm still pretty quick. and Nate slid in and goes, hey, yeah, I could beat you in a running race, and that got it going. That got us going. Like, if you know me, I am pretty quick. I used to be very quick, but not anymore. But I was like, all right, that's it. Well, a couple of days ago, we did a little bit of a running race, and the four of us went down to the fields, and we ran from one end of the field to the other. And, oh, yeah, Yeah, it was a good time. We're gonna have we have a video of that. We'll show you that coming up shortly. So stick around. All right, before we jump in, I do want to say a big thank you to our partners. A big thank you to Soccer World. Appreciate all the love and support you guys show us. Big thank you to Aaron Bird and Next Level Training. They are up in Petoskey this week. Beautiful Petoskey running their camp. Big thank you to the Michigan Jags. And Jags soccer is now back. It starts up again this week with practices and games, and then the Jag tournament in 2 weeks. So I will be at 6 to 8 games for that weekend. So big thank you to the Michigan Jags. Big thank you to Thomas McGee's. You can watch all of the upcoming EPL and Bundesliga games in the season at Thomas McGee's downtown Detroit Eastern Market. Big thank you to the football doc, Dr. Zachary Atwood. He is phenomenal at what he does. Physical therapy gets people back on the field playing. Big thank you to the Fab Football Academy, located just outside of London in England. What a phenomenal facility they have. Absolutely wonderful. If you are a high schooler, you're looking for going to college, or a college player, and you're looking for a gap year, check out Fab Football Academy. They do some awesome stuff. They will find and fine-tune your game and get you into the right pro program. All right, guys, let's start with Pellegrino Mattarazzo. Nate, you did call this a couple of weeks ago. You had him on your list. The topic came up yesterday. Bild and Kicker, I believe out of Germany, have reported that he has been offered the U.S. men's national team coaching job, the managing job.
I mean, I shared the Galazzo one from CBS.
Did they go? Did they?
That's where I first saw it.
Okay, I saw it as Build and Kicker. Listen, there's some differentiating views on this. Nate, I saw your comments on the Facebook group, the We Are Soccer Facebook group. Pellegrino Mattarazzo, what are your thoughts, my friend? Let's. You are the German expert. Let's open it on the floor to you.
Well, before we get started there, from the guys who want to take a crap on it, I would like to know why.
Okay.
I would like to know why.
Like us or just anyone?
Just anyone. Yeah, okay, just tell me why. Why?
right.
Why you don't like it? It's fine, because there's I think there's reasons to like, and then there's definite reasons that would cause you worry.
Okay.
Now, outside of him not having any international experience, but guys, hey, guess
One
what?
of my main.
So who are you going to hire with international experience, though?
There's a bunch of guys that are out there that have international experience.
that you would take right now that don't have a job.
Well, that's the thing.
Outside of Southgate, who I don't think will take the job anyways, right?
Pellegrino Mattarazzo has a job. He
has a job. Yep.
He's at Hoffenheim. And
Yeah,
they
but
are,
being
they
a-
are
being
9
a-
days, 10 days away from
Yeah, being a manager in Germany, it's
This
Yeah,
goes,
I get it.
yeah.
this,
Mary
goes
wrong.
this goes deeper than the managerial appointment.
Okay.
Well,
Way deeper.
Okay.
all right, I'm going to
Go deeper.
We're going to get a little deeper, but one, Nate, you asked for
Yeah, I'm just curious.
number one, no national team managerial experience for me.
Okay.
I was hoping that they would bring someone in who's at least coached at the national team level or been there as an assistant coach for a while.
But
just
none of their
some
top
experience.
candidates really have that.
Agreed, and that was that we.
So if I take that off the table,
take that off the table. Next is
Yep.
winning percentage with the club teams that you've been with.
correct.
33% win percentage. It's not exactly good, is it not?
Yep, but there's an asterisk behind that.
I mean, I'm going to put you some notes real quick here, all right? At Stuttgart, he won 31 of 100 games, losing 40.
And when he took over Stuttgart, they were in Division II. He got them promoted.
Yep, he did.
And
He
the
has a
average
promotion.
Bundesliga team after promotion usually lasts about 2 years, and then they get relegated again. Which was close to what was happening when he got out, because they didn't make the proper investments. The year that he was actually took over for Stuttgart after finishing 9th, they sold their goalkeeper and never really replaced him to Dortmund. They sold their forward, and never really replaced him. And they got banged up with a bunch of injuries. So I would say there wasn't a lot of proper investments with Stuttgart there.
At his current club, Hoffenheim, he's been in charge for 52 matches.
Correct.
They've won 20.
Right. And when he took over at Hoffenheim, they're in relegation battle.
Okay.
He pulled them out of relegation battle, and now they're in the Europa, which is the highest they've actually finished in the last few
Agreed.
years.
They have gotten, but he still has a win percentage
Correct.
of
Yep.
somewhere around 38%.
And Hoffenheim is also a team that hasn't invested big. And guess who's a starter for Hoffenheim?
I don't know. Tell me who.
At center back, and does very well.
Tell me.
Jonathan Brooks.
who has been
cascaded out of the team.
Yes.
But apparently he can win games and get them in the Europa.
Now-
Now, I'm not sitting here trying to tell you that he is a savior and he's going to, but I think you could do worse. If you're talking about a guy who is outside of the American system, yes, he played at Columbia. Has a mathematics degree from Columbia, but he never played in the States. He played his whole career in Germany. His coaching education and background is from Germany, not from America. He went to the same academy to learn his coaching trade as Nagelsmann, and was Nagelsmann assistant at Hoffenheim. So there's a lot of pros there, and I think you could do worse.
But obviously, 33% win percentage. He's
Correct.
been relegated.
Now, usually,
No national team experience.
do national team coaches, are they usually good club coaches?
No, they're average club coaches.
Okay,
Yeah.
and he's about an average. I would say it would be interesting, and I'm not saying USA is a team with the top talent,
They're
but it would be interesting to see what he does, what he could do with a team that had top talent and invested. Stuttgart now is a team that is solid because
Sure.
they cleaned house management wise after they got rid of him. Okay, Hoffenheim never was a top end team; they're a mid table team, and Stuttgart was a bottom end team when he went there. So it would be interesting to see what he could do with it, but we will never see that.
It still comes down to
It's a question
this
mark.
is the biggest managerial hire this nation is going to have for decades. We are now potentially about to hire a guy who has no national team experience, has a 33% winning percentage across all of his managerial teams. We're going into the World Cup that's being hosted here. We need someone who can get the job done. This is not exactly the type of person I was personally hoping for.
I think it's a band-aid appointment.
You think so?
Yeah, I do. Because I think the deeper issue is the national team, the youth national team, set up in philosophy standpoint of the way that they are developing and playing players, or developing players to play in the national team. Because if you look at the women's side of the US women's national program, right, and you look at the top team, outside of the fact that they got rid of Rampino and a bunch of others this year that retired and all that sort of stuff, Alex Morgan's going and all that sort of stuff, they've got a great nucleus of young, technically gifted female athletes, female soccer players that can play the game at a very incredible and they've shown that during the Olympics.
And they went out.
No, hold on a sec. So what they did was they already had the philosophy in place with the players. They knew how they wanted to play. They had technically gifted players, so they went and hired the very best female coach in the world, or one of. And they went to England to buy Emma Hayes from Chelsea, which was she was winning everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they brought her across, right? And the U.S. women's national team at this moment in time during the Olympics, with the largely amount of the same players that played in the last World Cup, look completely night and day different.
Yep.
Night and day different.
Absolutely, they do.
So
Go ahead, Ray.
this is actually feeding into my point that Mattarazzo, Rhino, as they called him at Stuttgart.
Ooh, insider knowledge there, folks.
there you go.
Rhino.
He never had top talent. Was able to get the most out of him. And
So it's a band-aid appointment then.
well, it's you need that because you're not going to get the top talent. You're not going to produce a top end flight national team within 2 years, right?
No, I agree with you.
Yeah,
But
so
let's just agree that the fact that this is a band-aid appointment and there are deeper issues with the U.S. men's national team, both at the youth level and the top
100%.
team.
There's no argument there. You're not going to solve it with, but you're not going to solve that with any coach that you're bringing in. Is my point. And to bring in him, a guy who has gotten the most out of the least within a top flight European league, which Germany is not the best, but top 4.
I mean, for all Gareth Southgate's
I
faults,
love Gareth
right?
Southgate.
For all his faults, right? For all his faults in terms of, there's some decisions that he made in some games and all that sort of stuff. We can argue and say, well, the facts are there. He's the most successful England manager outside Alf Ramsey, right? So he was a part of a redevelopment of the way that the national team looked, or the FA looked at developing young players, right? And he took over those youth teams and did very well with them, and then was molded into the next England manager, which he's had for the last 8 years. I think my personal opinion is that the FA are about to do the same thing on repeat again because it was so successful.
Yeah.
And you can't really take that success away from him. So why are the US not looking at a deeper issue?
I think, one, he costs too much money, right? But I think he'd be a great fit here. Now, the U.S., you're right, has deep issues going back all the way through the youth. We're seeing that right now. The U.S. U20s just lost to Mexico today. The men's team.
Yeah, but they qualified for the U20 World Cup.
Okay.
I'm just saying,
Yep. Agreed.
it's not that they got bounced.
There's issues going deep through, right?
It's not the youth national team. It's not the U.S. youth national team
Don't you want a manager to come in here and be able to reset and go
How is
back
it not
through?
the youth national team?
It's everything outside of U.S. soccer. So that includes, and when I say U.S. soccer, I mean just the national team. It's outside the youth national team setup. It's MLS Next, it's USYS, it's ECNL, it's everything. It's outside of that produces the players. That's the issue. It's not within the youth national team setup. I mean, you can probably blame a little bit of it because they tend to pick favorites a lot, but it starts with the grassroots and everything else in the club level.
I think that's what we're saying. It goes back into the club level. It goes all the way down to club level. And then what we're seeing is the top level in those U.S. national teams, right? We're seeing those. But that's where there's issues. There's issues all the way down.
Because, listen, they have won. I mean, they've won CONCACAF, championships at the 16, 17 level. They've qualified for the U20s consistently. The Olympics, not so much.
And
They've qualified for the U18 World Cup.
England won the
they've done it.
U18 World Cup several times. But
Correct.
Correct.
Didn't Ukraine won? Ukraine won the U20s the one time a couple years ago or whatever. It's like hit or miss at that age group. But the importance of the competition of playing in those World Cups is huge.
Sure.
It's because that's
it
international.
needs to start to
experience.
transition into the men's first team to actually get wins games there.
I can tell you this right now. The women's side, the U.S. women's national team, women's side from top to bottom, from professional first team up and down through the youth team. Don't think for 1 second that Emma Hayes won't have her stamp on that.
Oh, absolutely.
Sure.
She will. She will.
But I think the U.S., you coach in the girls' side, I think they do a lot better of calling in the right players and the players that deserve to be there, unlike the male side, in my opinion.
Isn't that on the U.S. Soccer Federation?
Yeah, I haven't.
They're two separate if you really look at it, like between the men and the women. I mean, they operate as one, but I think in reality of how they're run internally, I think the women get it right from the grassroots level up, and then the men, there's a lot of things going on.
Okay. All right. Danny, you were going to finish your thought there, Danny. I think you were going to say something, but I got one last piece I want to.
No, I don't necessarily disagree with him, and I don't really have enough institutional knowledge at the youth level to say whether they're picking the right players or not picking the right players. For me, I think Chloe Ricketts is probably one of the best young players out there. And I know she's in and around the youth national team. So hopefully that they're doing the right things there and guiding her towards, the national team along with Amalia. I think they're doing those right things. But I think the women's side will get it right a hell of a lot quicker than the men's side, just because of Emma Hayes' knowledge.
So I think part of it comes back to why have they offered Pellegrino Mattarazzo and not anybody else? I think he fits into the budget. I think he fits into that 1.2 to little under 3 budget. Whereas if you want a Southgate, you're in the 4, 5, 6 million a year.
They're willing to go get another sponsor to get someone more.
You want to get a Southgate, you're going to get 2 or 3 sponsors.
But
right?
why not?
But they're willing
why
to
not
do
go?
that.
Why not shoot for the stars? Right.
So my question to Nate is then why not if they're willing to go outside and go and. I don't mean this just disrespectfully, but the guy's a nobody. I'd never even heard of him before that post came out. The guy's a nobody. Why are they not going after a top MLS coach that sees these players coming through that system, through the MLS Next system into the MLS? Why are they not picking a homegrown?
Because you don't, as a first team coach, you don't really pay attention to a lot of those guys. I mean, I'll be honest.
Gareth Southgate did, mate. So.
I mean, you talk about a lot of first team guys. I mean, I know a lot of first team players in MLS that they don't hear much of the academy until the kid comes into the first team training. So, and there's a disconnect even between second teams and academies within MLS. So, it's...
Didn't a 14-year-old just play the other night?
Kevin Sullivan.
Kevin? Yeah, a couple weeks ago. Yeah. But, I mean, there's other internal things within that one that I don't want to go into. But, he's a special kid, no doubt. But,
Well, isn't it the job of the national team coach to have an eye on what's going on in the youth system so he knows what players to pick?
Yeah, they do. I mean, they're out of the big MLS Next tournaments and all that stuff. I just don't know if they're watching them like a hawk like they are in other countries, per se.
Then that's a problem.
Klinsmann did.
That's always your answer, isn't it?
I was in
who put
favor.
on who put on Pulisic? Who gave Pulisic his start
I think
at 17
I
and
think-
was criticized?
I think Stevie Wonder could have seen the
Really?
talent that
Because
Christian
he
Pulisic
didn't
had.
play a single first team match for Dortmund yet.
Right. There's a big difference between being in Germany and being a star here. He had the skill and the talent.
I mean, the one
of
thing-
most
He
of the
had yet to
players here.
start. He had yet to make a name for him on the big stage, and he was criticized for giving him a start.
Yeah.
When he did.
So they're trying to make changes, though, aren't they?
But they get held back.
There's this
somehow,
big
yeah.
rumor going around right now that's that they're going to go back to the old birth year system.
Really?
Oh, they're going to transition back.
Yeah, the bit of a rumor. I don't know whether it's
Interesting.
true or not, but it's a bit.
I've
of a
heard that
rumor,
one too.
you know.
Interesting. Well, we
mean,
don't
it's-
we don't know if it's true that if Pellegrino Mattarazzo has been offered, the rumors are out there. We'll see. Brooks.
I mean, the one thing I will say is, I mean, you and I talked before, and I was just kind of just giving you my 2 cents of not just soccer, but just national team stuff in general, whether it's been Olympics, winter, summer. The 1980 hockey team won with a college coach in college. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just like, if you look at the historic, probably outside of basketball, of what the United States has won in national team stuff, it's really been with really nobody coaches. To be honest with you, never big name coaches.
But
So-
in nobody competitions.
So
Yeah.
I really don't care about other sports or other countries. I don't care what, no offense, England does. We're different than them.
That's what I'm saying. That's
Okay.
my point. Is like, I mean, we don't, national team coaches aren't really big name people most of the time. So I'm just saying, like, it just kind of fits within, like, if Mattarazzo came in, it's like, okay, like, I'm fine with that. He's faced adversity.
I'm not discounting. With that said, I agree with all your points. My issue is I don't think it's going to happen in 2 years. And so you need to bring in someone now so it does well, and then you can think of it, reconfigure, which to your point.
I completely
which is to your
understand
point.
that they need to bring somebody in now to make an impact for the biggest competition in the world
I
that's
would-
on home soil.
Right, and I would love Garrett Southgate, but I do not see that as a realistic option.
Sure.
No, I
You
didn't.
know?
No,
No, but I'm just saying,
maybe
period.
you misunderstood. Maybe
No,
you
no.
misunderstood it, and I know he looked at me as if say, I don't think he'd come this way. I didn't mean bring Gareth Southgate
No,
in.
we've had that
Talking about
discussion.
the philosophy change.
We've had that discussion, and I have flat out said I think Garrett Southgate would be great for this team. Like, it just as a manager who's available with international experience, who would probably take them to, if he had the talent, to a next level. But that's the issue. I think we're still far away from that. Where, to me, a Southgate versus Mattarazzo, I mean, even though Southgate is better and could probably do better with a better team, I don't think you're going to have much of a difference because you're capped
tell
with
you-
what you can actually do.
I'll tell you the national team coach that I would go after if I was a US, if I was Croker,
Interesting.
Ralph Ragnick,
I'd take him.
because he would institute change at the development system.
I also would take him, but I don't think he's leaving Austria.
Yeah.
No, I'm
yeah,
I'm speaking
you're right.
hypothetically here. If the US's idea is a band-aid appointment to get a team of good athletes playing good football, then you go after the guy that can do that quickly.
I mean, look what
And
he did
and
for Austria,
And he did
right?
it with Austria.
I mean,
But
phenomenal.
the guy is also absolutely a genius
Yep.
at change, at developmental change.
Do you remember when he went to Manchester United and he said, "I'm going to be playing the 4-2-2-2," and everybody went, "What the f? It ain't going to work." And it
But he was also
It didn't
right
really work,
about
but it also
100% of the things that
worked.
he said.
Yeah, he was 100% right. Absolutely. And even Eric Ten Hag has come out recently and said what was said 2 years ago or 3 years ago by Ralph Ragnick. 100%.
Yeah, and the
Yeah,
US.
I mean, a great appointment if they could do
I mean,
it, right?
The US job,
Hypothetical,
the US job is quote unquote a desirable appointment. I mean, it's a fucking big job.
You make a name for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Only issue with Ragnick is, just like Klinsmann, he'll be honest, and then he'll get run out of town.
Yeah.
And the Federation don't want
The
to.
Federation doesn't like honesty.
I mean, you're not wrong.
And well, here's the thing about the Federation. If you're listening, you need to grow up.
Yeah.
Because if you want to compete on the big stage, you have to make change.
Yep.
I mean, it's just as simple as that.
And it's time. And maybe they feel that Mattarazzo is the change that's needed right now. Maybe
Or-
he is the one that's needed. Because,
Or-
let me finish my thought real quick. Hold on. Because they actually, Matt Crocker had a conversation with Mattarazzo before Greg Berhalter was hired. They had a nice conversation. Mattarazzo recently came out and said, yes, we had a conversation. It was nice. It was civil. It wasn't the right time for a move for either of us for me to be in this position, but it was a great conversation. Greg Berhalter has now been let go, and they picked up that conversation again. So, you know what? They've had Matt Crocker, the U.S. Federation president, sporting director, has had a year plus now to let that conversation with
and they have time.
simmer.
They have time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
They are guaranteed World Cup spot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because
There's
they're hosting.
nothing to
so
play
they,
for. Yeah,
they
yeah.
have time over the next 3 to 4 months to get the appointment right.
Yep. So Nate, sorry I cut you off. Go ahead and.
I was gonna say, or he's just another guy from New Jersey because that's where he's from New Jersey.
Is he from New Jersey?
He's
He is from New Jersey. He
And
is.
what's that record of New Jersey's hires outside of Clinton? I think they're
14.
yeah. So there you go.
Region 1 Mafia, Craig.
So, but here's how it works out to get him. If it just real quick, how it would work out. Yes, he is hired. He is employed by Hoffenheim till 2025.
Yep.
Germany takes a winter break.
Yeah.
So if they want to do it right, like you said, there's not much going on. They make that he leaves, probably agrees to do the first half, while they get even a replacement on board. Hoffenheim, he leaves in the winter, which is actually not very uncommon in the Bundesliga. If you're doing bad, especially they cut a lot of guys during that winter break.
And then he's got 18 months in the role.
And so that's how you do it. It'd actually be a very simple transition. And what would happen now? It would happen in December.
We could go on all day about this, Brooks. You got the final.
Yeah, just to get back to Danny, like they want to change the birth year and everything. I think the one big change they made, in my opinion, in MLS Next in the academy system was they dropped 17 and 19 and they just did 16, 18. I like that setup a lot better. You got a lot of gap year players playing in the 19 level, and it's just like, listen, if you're not good enough to play for the second team by the time you're 18 or 17, like, what are we doing here? You know, so there are changes. They made adjustments. It just takes time. I mean, I think it just takes recognition from people. Not everyone can. You know, we have academy directors signing kids left and right because they want bonuses. You know, because they want bonuses for signing players and they want money and they don't do the right thing and rather just signing the right player. And that's my opinion of how messed up the system is a little bit too, in my opinion.
Well, whoever comes in here is going to have a big job to get it going because the system runs deep and there's a lot of flaws, as Danny said, and as you just iterated there. All right, so we're going to stick with U.S. soccer because both the men's and the women's were in the Olympics. Only one of them remains. As we all know, I'm sure everybody's heard. U.S. men's team bounced 4-0 by Morocco. That's not a good look, man. That's not a good look at all.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think anybody
did you
was
watch the game?
Hold
Did you
on.
watch the game?
Yes, I did.
I don't think anybody
Wow,
was
I watched the game too.
gold. I don't think anybody was expecting gold here. But
No, but I thought we could at least have a chance to medal.
yeah, agreed. So thoughts,
I think
boys?
2 year penalty kicks are bullshit.
Well, okay.
So
Did you not think the first one? You didn't like the first one
No.
where Nathan Harrell decides to throw his foot up and he hits someone?
I am and
This
I
is
am
spoken
not,
by a defender, by
I
the way.
am not calling that in a game of that magnitude.
I'm still shocked that you just said that you thought that they would medal
Serious? No, I thought they had a good
You
chance.
thought
It's
that they
it's
would
not. It wasn't
medal.
a bad side.
with France, Argentina, Spain.
So if they won
Egypt.
their game, Argentina and France were on the opposite side. All you have to do was just and I think Spain was on their side. I think they would have had a chance against Spain.
Not a chance,
chance.
on hell.
They don't play all their top guys. They
They
sound like
don't need to play all their top guys.
they had a chance to medal in that.
All
game.
their top guys that age are actually playing in the upper first,
They had a chance to medal, or they could have had.
first squad. But
Because all you do is get to the Final Four, then there you go.
there was a small chance, don't get me wrong, but getting bounced by Morocco 4-0, whether the two of the PKs were garbage or not.
So which one you didn't?
It wasn't a good
yeah,
look.
the handball one at the end, Nate, was some BS too. Like
it was total BS.
yeah, his arm was in. I'm like, he's turning, and like it's not. It's just ridiculous at that point.
And this is the same Morocco that did really well at the World Cup.
So
They played good football, to be honest with you. That was probably, out of all the national team games I've watched with the U.S., that was probably the best game between U.S. and Morocco I watched in the men's Olympics.
So
Okay. All right.
I wasn't expecting USA to beat Morocco. I actually had a conversation with someone about this. Just make it respectable and do good. I think times they looked really good. At times, certain players looked good. I thought Zimmerman looked fantastic. He made a recovery tackle that was out of this world.
Oh, yeah.
I thought Eric Padres looked really good.
Kevin Paredes.
Paredes looked very good.
Yeah.
I thought the first penalty kick was very soft.
Okay.
I saw two Moroccan players basically run into each other next to a USA defender.
Okay.
That really didn't have much to do with it. And they were awarded a penalty off that. And I think in a game of that magnitude, I don't know if you should call that, because that was game-changing at that point. And then the last one, I'm not sure how you call that a handball when the guy his arm was close to him like that.
Yeah.
The other two goals were legit.
They were good.
Good
Hakimi's goal was good.
I view it as more of a 2-0 loss than a 4-0 loss based on that. And that's just my opinion. I also think that the way both teams were playing were good. And that penalty in the beginning changed the dynamic of the game for sure.
I mean, that's my thoughts. Is listen, Schulte's not a national team goalkeeper. I wouldn't even consider him. I don't like Nathan Harriel. I think he's pretty overrated. He starts for Philly. I'm not a Jack McGlynn fan. His brother Connor's pretty mediocre USL Championship player, in my opinion. He just doesn't have enough change of pace. He's got decent vision, Jack, but. Busio was hurt. That didn't help. I mean, I think if Busio was playing, he would have covered more ground. Terrence Tessman still leaves a lot to be desired, to be honest with you. Paredes has pace, but he just lacks consistent attacking abilities, in my opinion.
Again, it just shows you the importance of it shows you the importance
of having a manager.
Of having a manager that's decent, and it also shows you the importance of what the U.S. Soccer Federation feels it's most important, because the women's team is fully fledged,
they're all in
top players.
Young
It's their normal squad.
Yep.
But you can't do that in the Olympics.
And the men's team is not.
But you can't do that in the Olympics.
Well,
correct. You can only do 3 seniors. You can have everyone's 23.
What I'm hearing from Brooks is though that
hold on.
a lot of those players shouldn't have been there, and they could have been better.
No. Like they were the best 23, but in my opinion, those guys that play in Europe, like. I watched Tanner Tessman when he was 16 or 17. I went up when Lansing had a USL League One team. I went up and I watched him play. And he wasn't bad, but he wasn't dominant for USL League One level. And I'm like, man, making that, I mean, he played a little bit for FC Dallas, and like these kids make these moves so quickly to Europe. But it just isn't a good decision.
I think Tessman is the worst example you could do of that based on his starting ability.
So what, Paredes is the better example?
Paredes is starting for Wolfsburg.
Is he that effective, though, for Wolfsburg?
Yes.
See, like, if you're that effective, I think, for a Bundesliga team, wouldn't you kind of run the game at that level, at the 23 level?
No, because look at the players that they were playing against on the Morocco side. Did you see most of those guys are from Europe themselves?
Yeah, that's
Morocco a good Morocco team.
Solid Morocco team.
That's a solid team.
And
I didn't think they were going to beat Morocco.
That's the difference between the U.S. and a lot of these other European and African teams is at 23, a lot of those players are just solid, should be first-team players, or are first-team players, but they want to medal, so they send them back down, right?
To
Which
the
goes back to
development structure of the U.S. men's national team.
Exactly.
But I'm always one.
Because some of the best players the USA have are 25, 26, 27, and 28, and they're rolling out a 35-year-old in the back line still. Wouldn't see Emma Hayes doing that, would you?
No. They all have older. The men's and women's for Olympics are, like Nate said, are totally different. You get 3 senior players, where everyone in the women's team is a senior player. It's totally set up differently.
Understand that.
I will say they
completely understand that. Yeah,
I do think they made mistakes with who they put in there as the senior players.
I was fine with Robinson and Zimmerman. Mihailovic, you probably could have put someone else instead of Georgi Mihailovic.
I would have pulled a striker in there.
Yes.
I would have put a forward in there.
Probably.
Because they didn't have a forward.
Well, the thing is, like,
one that was quality.
Again, Duncan McGuire, like, he comes in and scores a lot of goals last year for Orlando City, and then that Blackpool move, and he doesn't do dick now.
I would have put
in. That's the worst part, is like potential, and then they drop off. Like, you can't do that.
Call me a former homer for FCC, but I would have called up Vasquez.
Sure.
And put him in there.
Sure.
To manhandle a bunch of 20-year-olds at a guy his size.
Yeah.
And
I think we would have had a chance.
I think he would have done a great job
as
a forward, a big body, because that's what France did. Yeah. France took a bunch of attacking players.
Lacazette.
Yeah, exactly, though. But look what they do.
Yeah.
And then they come in and they beat up on some of these guys who aren't really playing at that level.
Yeah.
This is a conversation for another
Oh, it's a bigger
It's a bigger
conversation for sure.
conversation because what I'm about to say right now is probably going to blow up the room.
Oh, here
Yeah,
we go.
do it.
Right.
Here we go.
But this is a bigger conversation.
Get the
right?
bomb on the soundboard.
There's no bomb,
The
unfortunately.
The English Premier League,
Yeah.
the Bundesliga,
Yeah.
La Liga,
Yeah.
League One,
Uh-huh.
right? Top leagues.
Best leagues in the world.
Most of the players that play in the national team are playing in their own divisions,
Yep.
in their own leagues. MLS players are going out to play in Europe because the league structure is not good enough to develop those players.
I
sadly,
differ
it's
because
sadly,
I
it's
just
still
differ
true. It's been
because
that way for
Sti-
20
it's-
years.
if it
still-
was like that,
the
the U.S.
MLS
men's
was-
national team would never have had any success in the past.
I-
Like, how can you say that and then just like that? How can you say that and like in 2002, 2006, like all those other national teams that advanced out of the group and did well with Donovan Dempsey and all those guys, the most of them were playing in MLS. Like,
you mean those?
I just don't understand. Like,
those onesie twosie times that happened.
no, most of the time they advanced.
Where was
out of the
Donovan
group.
playing when? Where was Donovan Dempsey playing when those?
Donovan's probably the
Dempsey was over in Fulham, but the majority of that team in the early 2000s,
Brad Friedel played for Liverpool at the time.
he
right?
was at that time.
So
But the
those players were
majority of
going
those
to top
guys were
European
MLS
leagues,
players.
Those top European leagues to develop
Were they not beating players and beating teams and advancing out at least the group stage?
because they had senior players that were playing in the top leagues in Europe.
No, not all of them were.
Brooks, like I'm telling you now, mate.
I just
like,
I
the
don't
development
believe
structure in
if you are the
MLS
best
is
player
poor.
if you are the best player in your domestic league, it counts for something. It does. Like if you're like a ho hum come off the bench type of guy that they brought in like before, like in the past, then forget about it. But like if you can dominate your domestic league,
So
I don't believe that you can't compete with other players in other leagues around the world.
before I prove you wrong, I'm confused on what you just said. Are you saying that having all your domestic players playing in the top Europe leagues is bad? Or are you saying
No, I'm saying
okay.
having our top domestic players playing in our league
Yeah,
is helpful
yeah, and
for the
us-
national team that they are playing for.
Right,
so
right.
you
And
don't
so
see
say-
many English players going abroad.
right. And
Very few.
So US sending our top players into Europe is a good thing, right? 'Cause that's what we're doing.
I disagree with that because
And
don't think
here's where I'm going to prove you wrong in a
They get
minute.
shit
but-
on.
but-
I don't think like if the league was good enough within
Yeah.
the structure that they're playing in,
Yeah.
right? Playing with their teammates.
Yeah.
other
with their
national
U-
team
US
players
national
come play in here. Like in Comnable, all their other guys come play here.
Hold on.
Yeah,
hold
I'm
on.
just
trying
saying.
to
Let him finish the
understand
thought.
his thought.
Let him finish
real
the
quick.
thought.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead, Danny.
I'm purely saying, right, that the league is not good enough for those homegrown players. The league is not good enough for those US players. That's why they have to go and seek
That's why they're
alternate
leaving.
leagues. Yeah, that's
And
why they're leaving.
And I'm okay with that, and that's fine for me, because that's what Argentina does. That's what Brazil does. That's what like any really good like France does. Their other players go. Other top players don't play in Argentina, Brazil.
Yes,
France,
but they
Croatia.
go when they're ready. That's
sa-
the thing. These
And
players,
What
US
I'm
players,
what
don't
I'm
go
saying
when
is
they're
there's a
ready.
lot of those national team players that are playing within the country that they're playing for. Like a lot of English national team players are playing in England. A lot of
Right.
German
Well, yes,
national
that
team
is-
players are
Right,
playing
because
in
they have a
Germany.
top end league.
Right.
Right. But I don't think you need a top end domestic league in order to have a top end.
It's also easy to play in your own country when you don't need a visa or anything, too. So, it's still easier.
I see the point on. I see
Now-
the point from both sides.
now-
I see the point from both
no,
sides
no,
because
no.
Argentina and Brazil are probably a bit
That's
of
what
an
I'm saying.
exception.
Yep.
Like all those players,
Croatia.
all starting 11
Croatia.
in Brazil and
Croatia,
for
like
Arge-
the-
they go out and play in Europe, right? They're all playing in Europe. But for England and for Germany and pretty much Spain,
Yeah.
Italy, all those players for those national
France
teams
too. I mean,
played,
there's not
and
a lot
France
of
too.
French
You're right.
players playing in
They
other top
play-
leagues.
yeah,
that
they'll
are not
play in
Because
their
they have the
country.
top
League.
league. They
Yeah.
don't need to go anywhere.
They don't. Their
we
top
send
leagues
them.
are the best leagues in the world.
Yeah.
It helps.
Now, and here's where Brooks is wrong. According to Clint Dempsey, he said the reason why they didn't qualify is because they had too many guys playing in the MLS and came back and weren't challenging
He did
themselves to
say that.
the top league. So that's not my opinion. That's his
I
opinion.
know, that's his.
He's
I
part
get
of
that.
the team that
Well,
wasn't there.
I'm just saying, like, it's not like they bounced and they got, like, murdered when they was, like, part of the players in Europe and then the majority in MLS.
Sure,
Like,
I get it. I get
Like
it.
after that, like I mean, '94 was a struggle. Like when they finally qualified, and then the years after, it was like chugging along and whatnot. But then like it finally got kind of level headed at some point, and all of a sudden it just blew up. When I mean, listen, I think what Klinsmann said and did was important, but at some point it was like, well, everyone's got to do this, and no, everyone's not made for this. Everyone can't go over at 17. Some people have to go over at 20 or 21 to do this.
You know, the funny thing is, before today's show started, Brooks goes, "I don't know if I'm going to have much to contribute today, so I'll probably stay silent." Yeah, that hasn't happened, has it, Brooks?
Well, it was domestic stuff.
That's why you have unbelievable co-hosts to manufacture types of things that Brooks can interject with. We actually give him a role on this show.
Hold him in. Hold him in.
Just pull him in a little bit. He's not sounded his board off for 25 minutes. He's actually stayed in the conversation.
Duh, you mentioned it.
Am I a co-host? What am I now?
One of them. Yes.
One of them, or I'm just a dude.
I give Craig all the credit.
Just a dude playing a dude, knowing a dude.
The dude.
The dude making gazpacho.
Do you know what he proposed to call you three today?
You three. There's three of us over here.
Well, you two and Brooks. You know what he proposed to call you guys?
What?
Do you want to tell them?
Oh, because I was showing the Dan Patrick clip.
Yeah. What did you propose to call you guys?
Oh, the Craigettes.
Oh my God.
So what does his penis taste like in your mouth? I mean, just out of curiosity, is it salty?
Your head, I'm not joking, your head is so far up his ass, I don't know where you start and he ends.
What?
I can't tell if Craig's farting or Brooks talking at the moment.
Am I giving you compliments left or right on this thing? I'm pretty fair.
My head did get a little bit bigger when you said that. I was like, all right. Here's the funny thing: you've watched the Dan Patrick show. I've watched the Pat McAfee show, and that's where we're at. And that's
I don't watch any of that crap.
Yeah, I see this.
I watch soccer stuff.
Watch soccer stuff.
That way
All
I
right,
know
weekend
things.
friendlies.
All right, so we're gonna get to the friendlies. We got to finish up this Olympic talk. So U.S. women advanced 1-0 over Japan. An excellent goal from Trinity Rodman, by the way.
They're going all the way.
They'll win gold.
I don't know if they will, but the way Emma Hayes has that team playing, it's night and day compared to what it was a year ago with the old players in there, the slow, the nothing. Now, the funny thing was, I think they've been playing phenomenally the last couple of matches, and all of a sudden they only beat Japan 1-0, and here comes the crowd going, "Where's Alex Morgan? Does this Emma Hayes woman know what she's doing? We need Alex Morgan."
They're so stuck in the old days.
Hello? Alex Morgan is 35 years old. She's played 12 games in the NWSL. Do you want to know how many goals she has this year? 0. Do you want to know how many assists she has this year? 1. So, yes, Alex Morgan is the answer. She can't get it done in the NWSL, but all of a sudden, she's the answer for the U.S. women's national team?
She won't bow to it.
No,
she won't.
No.
She's too strong-headed for that, and she's, you know what? At the end of the day, she can walk into that dressing room and she can sit all those U.S. women's national team players down and say, "You know what? I command respect. I've been in Champions Leagues. I've won Champions Leagues. I've won Premier League titles in the women's professional league in England." They'll sit her down pretty quickly, and what she's doing is she's actually bringing in a wonderfully balanced way of playing.
Absolutely.
Really wonderfully balanced.
I like the way they play.
Yeah, it's actually you know what? It's a mix between athleticism and really good football.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? The ball might not be going into the back of the net quite as consistently as U.S. fans would like or as hope, but they're controlling games and they're creating opportunities.
It looks like they have a chance to win.
Creating, and that ball is going to start going in the back of the net. She's only been working with the team for 3 months. By far the best coach that they could have gone out and got, and they got her. Nate.
Right. So I asked a question last week. You weren't here, and now I want your answer since we're on the subject. Is the women's national team? Do you think their soccer IQ is higher than the men's national team?
The women over the men. Not
in the one for because then you got physicality and speed and blah 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 blah. I'm saying, is their soccer IQ, because it sure looks like that to me, is their soccer IQ higher than the men's side at this current juncture?
Yeah.
I think a lot of it has to do with the coach as well.
A lot of it has to do with the coach, but then a lot of it has to do with the fact that the women's national team setup has been good. Yeah. It's been really good.
It's been good, but not great.
It's been good, but
they need to get back to
platforms like ECNL, platforms, collegiate level soccer. It's produced some really talented footballers.
Agreed.
Really talented footballers. You know.
All right, we got a lot to get to. We're going to talk preseason stuff. We're going to talk transfers and rumors. There's a couple of transfers out there. I think the one big domino still has not happened, and when that happens, all the other dominoes are going to fall. We have got a ton to get to. And by the way, we are going to show that running race between the four of us coming up very soon. But for now, we'll be right back after this. Hi, Brooks. We're at our favorite store, Soccer World in Rochester. We're just going to do some light shopping. Nothing big. Ooh, pretty colors. Oh, and one of these too?
Ooh, Germany. Nate would like this.
Hey, Brooks, look at all these. Look what I got.
Club America. Ooh. Wow, that's not MLS. Ugh.
Socks? No.
Ooh, a ball pump. Next in line.
Sir, you're next.
Right. That's a mannequin, you know that.
Huh?
It's a mannequin.
Oh. Sorry, sir.
Craig, what are you doing?
Nothing.
Huh?
All right, we got a lot to get to as we talked about. We're talking the preseason tours are coming to an end. We've got some games that have happened over the last week. Danny's traveled to some. I've traveled to some. We're going to get into that. There's some injuries that have happened. We're going to get into that. El Clasico happened. That is the 300th El Clasico. 257 of those are actually official. 43 of them are just exhibition friendlies.
They still call it El Clasicos, even though it's not a regular season
when
game.
those two teams play, it's El Clasico, even in a friendly and an exhibition match.
Can we just call it like El Manchesterco or something, you know?
They're
Maybe
called
the Manchester Derby.
I would say
Yeah,
it's called the
we could do that
Manchester
too.
Derby,
No, we
yeah.
have to make something up that makes no sense.
Yes.
Yes. Well,
Yes,
the Manchester
always.
Derby is happening, coming up in about a week away now. Is it?
6 days.
It's 6 days. Saturday, right?
Saturday, yeah.
Saturday the 10th. Yeah. So yeah, that's the Community Shield. Manchester United versus Man City. That's coming up. We'll talk because both those teams are in action. We're also going to tell you about the new Champions League format. How are they going to be drawn out of a hat, and who's doing it? Not. It's a computer. Actually, I don't know if you boys know this.
Is it Watson?
It's part human, part computer.
Oh.
So like RoboCop.
No.
Yeah.
It's Watson. It's IBM, isn't it?
Are the Democratic Party running that?
We're gonna stay away from that.
You know,
one.
it's the Champions League is so complex now. I don't think you can have a
it's-
normal person
I know.
doing any of this. You need a
You actually
supercomputer.
can't because
Makes
it's-
bars seem normal.
You would need over 1,000 pots on the stage to draw balls. out of.
Exactly.
So you
Yeah.
can't, and I get it, but it leaves a little bit of is
Oh,
it
stop.
Craig,
Like,
listen, Craig, it's the AI boom. Everyone's got to get into it. If you fall behind, you're screwed.
Listen, the ball pulling thing. I realize how that sounds.
Yeah. Hey.
Um,
whoa, family show,
but
man.
the-
Wow, you call my thing weird. Okay.
that opened the door to way too many other comments too. Anyways, the pulling of the balls outside of the of the bucket. I mean, USA drawing England almost every time when they're come on.
I mean,
like,
come on. We all saw that coming. With
statistically, like I'm not sure if that's a thing that can actually happen. So yeah, you know, it
This
is what it is.
So boring.
Yeah, it is.
So boring.
What's
Yeah,
so
you got to
boring
get the
about it?
AI involved to make
What
it
do you want?
interesting.
You want to talk about a friendly that meant nothing? Let's go for that.
yeah. Who was it on stage that did the FA Cup? Was it Rod Stewart who was drunk out of his mind? Who was that a couple of years, 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Was it Rod? I think it was Rod
yeah.
Stewart. And then a couple of players have gone on and tried to imitate that. That's always fun, but it is fucking boring watching them pull balls out of the fucking pot to say that.
Well, now it'll be a supercomputer.
Yeah.
Well, it is and it isn't. There will still be a human
Reading
on
the names?
board pulling out of one pot. So why don't we jump in and talk about that now? All right, so here it is. here is how the Champions League works, if I can find where the hell I just put it. Okay, 36 teams play in a newly created league phase, which is 4 more clubs than the previous years and places the group stage. Teams will now play 8 matches against 8 different sides, equally split between home and away fixtures, with UEFA scrapping the previous incarnation that saw the team play 3 opponents twice in a group stage. So essentially what's going to happen is you're going to get drawn against 8 teams, go away and play against those teams. There's no home and away. You can play against. Here's how it's going to work.
I love this. This is awesome.
Part
I hate
human,
this.
part computer. All 36 teams will be manually drawn using physical balls by someone on stage at the Grimaldi Forum in Monte Carlo, starting with pot 1 and ending with pot 4. How it works is that when a team is manually drawn, let's say last year's winners, Real Madrid, a button. So put hand in a pot, draw out the ball, and you go Real Madrid. A button will then be pressed on stage at the Spanish club's 8 the Spanish club's 8 opponents will randomly be drawn by automated software and revealed on screen.
Interesting.
Right. So Real Madrid.
Press the button.
They play. Oh, wouldn't you know it? They play Man City,
No, those 8 games, are you guaranteed?
Stuttgart and Arsenal.
Of those 8 games, are you guaranteed 4 home, 4 away, or could it be like 5 away, 5?
No,
or
I
3
believe
home?
it's 4 and 4. Yeah,
Okay,
but
that'd be bananas if it
but
was
there's
like
not- but-
6 away, 2 home.
But if Real Madrid draw Manchester City, it's not a home and away. It's you play Manchester City away,
Oh,
and then Manchester City don't go back.
yeah,
Right. So
Which
then
I'm fine
Manchester
with.
City play a different 7 teams, and then Real Madrid. If that makes
Do you think that keeps the health of the players for not having to play home and away?
No.
You don't think so?
No, because you're actually playing more games.
Okay.
More teams means more games, from 32 teams to 36 teams. So the number of teams participating in the competition increasing from 32 to 36. It now means there will be 189 matches, Champions League matches, as opposed to the 125 that we've had.
You could have avoided that whole sort of explanation by just putting the headline UEFA
Cheats.
No, UEFA designs format to create more money.
Sure.
Literally.
That's what it is.
More
Literally.
matches,
That's
yeah.
what it is. That's what it is. I mean, more matches, more players, more matches, more miles on the legs. But Nate, we're in the Champions League this year, so I don't think we really care, do we?
No, I actually don't.
It was
care.
we.
Hey!
Just Villa?
Do you want to tell him who we are? Hey.
Sorry,
this
Stuttgart and Villa. my
and the
bad.
one he's wearing.
I know, I'm joking.
Come on.
I know.
Want to place a bet that Stuttgart goes further than Villa?
Ooh.
Ooh.
You-
What are we betting?
Pie in the face.
Yes.
I would. I hate all this. Get back to the format thing. What if Villa draws Man City, Real Madrid, Barcelona? What if they just?
Well, they can't. They're all going to be in the top 4
Well,
pots.
you can't draw teams in your own league, right? So you
Exactly.
wouldn't draw, but I would absolutely love it if they drew Barcelona, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich.
wouldn't they put
Juventus,
those-
Napoli? I would love it. Are you kidding? That's a chance for us to play against the biggest clubs in the world
Get hammered
and get
out.
hammered.
Wouldn't the majority
I
of
don't
those?
care.
Wouldn't the majority of those be in the top 4 pots anyways? A lot of those big name clubs.
No, they are. Yeah, there's weird pot
Yes,
system. By the way, the pot system's screwed up too because Stuttgart should be in the top pot, finishing second, and somehow they weren't.
Welcome, because this is how UEFA and FIFA work. They just want
The
to.
top pod, the top pod goes off years in the Champions League
Yeah, it's prior years
History.
and all that good shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
history.
So unfortunately, Nate, Stuttgart and Villa in the last pot.
Come on, what do you mean? We were in the Champions League in 2014.
Yeah, and we were in 1982 as well.
Hey!
Hey.
It wasn't
You want an
actually
applause for that one?
Champions League? No, that wasn't
Okay.
actually the Champions League back
Okay.
then. But that's how it's going to work. It could get very rigged. How would we know? So just an FYI.
It doesn't matter. It's all rigged anyways.
There is a company called AE something or another. They are a company that's been working with FIFA and UEFA for the last couple of years on draws like this. Ernst & Young have been brought in to do an analysis.
Ernst and Young, really?
Ernst & Young, behind the scenes, an analysis to make sure it doesn't go wrong. And there is a redundancy. If the computer fails, There's a redundant way of doing it. They do it the old manual way, and if that fails, they got another way. But unfortunately, when the draw happens, we won't actually know about it, the results, until 24 hours later.
Hopefully the AI system has like the NVIDIA chip, so it doesn't fail.
We're not going to know. We're not going to know. We're just not going to know. Because FIFA and UEFA are going to do whatever the fuck they want, man. So,
You think they buy the best chip so it doesn't fail, but
you'd
it's
think
FIFA.
so.
But
You would think
Europa
so.
and the Europa remains unchanged, right?
From what I understand,
The
Europa,
pure working
Europa
man's league where all the real teams want to play.
and the Europa Conference League remain the same.
No one cares about that.
I know. Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. Except for if you're playing in it.
No.
No? Okay. I really didn't care about it too much last year. When we
Yeah,
were
what are you
playing
gonna
it.
play?
It is what it
SC
is.
Prague, Licious or whatever.
Olympiacos.
Whatever.
The Greek team, yeah. Panathinaikos.
Panathinaikos. Yeah, they all beat
Yeah.
us last year. All right, so listen, preseason tours, boys, coming to an end here. Villa just wrapped up a brilliant Villa in the USA Tour. 3 games, losing to Columbus, losing to RB Leipzig, and then losing to Club America. 3 games in a row. I'm not really...
You know what though?
Not really
At least
that
you're
upset about it.
consistent.
Very consistent.
Yeah.
We'll start with Villa here. I'm not. Listen, the only thing I'm a little upset about is that the fans over here who paid a lot of money to go see Aston Villa didn't get to see them win. They didn't play particularly well, but you could tell there were other things going on behind the scenes. They were working on certain pieces. There were a young youth academy player there. There were players who've never played for the club before. They were getting minutes under their legs. So you could see there's a bigger picture going on. Unai Emery came out today and said, listen, we didn't play very well results-wise, but I got a lot of information out of it that I wanted to, and this is going to help us. We still have 2 more preseason games before we kick off against West Ham on the 17th of August. So in Unai Emery, I trust. Danny, you traveled and then flew back all the way down to Carolinas, and you watched Man United yesterday. I'll tell you everybody the result. Obviously, Man United lost 3-0 to, everybody already knows, to Liverpool. Not a concern, though, I'm assuming, for you. Just it's good to see the team play in person, get to show the girlfriend the team, but I'm assuming no concerns.
I wasn't bothered by the result. Obviously, when you play Liverpool, anytime you want to beat them, I thought both starting 11s were somewhat decently strong with players from the first team squad of the last 2 years. I think for me personally, as a Man United fan, the first half was very Manchester United. We outplayed Liverpool in large portions of the game, created more chances. Liverpool's goalkeeper Keller stood on his head. Liverpool created 2 chances off counter-attacks and scored both, 2-0 at halftime. And the third one was off a counter-attack as well. We just couldn't score goals. I think the biggest thing for me, and I'll take away this, is it highlighted that there are players in that squad that still shouldn't be there watching the game live. And I was about 40-yard line, halfway line, about 13 rows up. I had a great bird's eye view of everything, every movement that was going on in the field. And obviously, as a coach, you analyze the game differently.
And overanalyze it a little bit.
Overanalyze it a little bit. I thought players like, so you've got Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Lindelof that are supposed to be being sold.
I'd say you could also put McTominay in that.
Yeah, and McTominay came on in the second half. He didn't do much. But you've got Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Lindelof that played the majority of the game. They both went off injured.
Yep.
And they're both about to be sold. I thought that was a poor decision from the coaching staff that they're literally leaving today to go back home to start training on Monday to prepare for Saturday. And this week is a big week for letting those players go.
Right.
It's for us to get new players in. I thought Casemiro was awful. He's lost a lot of weight. He's dropped weight. He looks fit, but I thought his decision-making was poor. Rashford was probably the bright spark.
I was going to say, at least you got to be happy with Rashford. It looked like he had some
Rashford
good
was a
runs.
bright spot.
All right.
Mason Mount was fantastic. Ahmed Diallo, who obviously came back on loan last year, played in the first team, scored against Liverpool in the FA Cup. He was a bright spark. Live Wire liked him. There's a young lad, a 2007 under 18 player for the academy called Harry Amass that played at left back. He's very
they were speaking highly of him.
very Luke Shaw-esque.
Yep.
He got done by Salah a couple of times, but Salah's world class. So Harry Amass looks good. There's another couple of good youngsters as well. Toby Collier in the middle of the midfield looks great. complements Kobe Manu quite well in the youth academy over the past 3-4 years. So the future's bright. I just don't like some of the decisions.
Yep.
You know, obviously the bright spark thing for me, the most amazing thing for me the weekend, outside of spending the weekend away with Jana and friends, was yesterday afternoon, walking around South Carolina. I ran into Ruud van Nistelrooy.
Never heard of him. Who's that?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
You didn't get a picture with
Didn't
him?
want it. He wouldn't allow pictures being taken.
No way. Oh, what a bummer.
How rude.
Allowed me to shake.
Aha.
Allowed me to shake.
Dad joke.
Allowed me to shake hands and give him a hug, and I literally stood there with my pants around my ankles for a minute. Absolute legend.
But he wouldn't take a picture, huh?
No,
Yeah,
they
it's a
were
bummer.
they were moving somewhere. I think he was coming through from a stroll. I think they were going back to the hotel.
Okay.
I noticed him and I just shouted Ruud, and Janet turned around and go, "What the hell are you doing?" And I start running over to Ruud van Nistelrooy, and she came over and she goes, "Who's that?" And I went, "Arguably one of the best Holland forwards that's ever lived."
And then she said, "Well, you've never run that fast towards
I
me,
know, right?
Danny."
So, but no, I thought Liverpool looked sharp on the counter. It's too early to say how they're gonna sort of transition into the Arnie Slot era. The fact that they haven't made any signings is telling to me, and maybe he's come in a little bit late and is evaluating the squad.
It is a little strange, is it not? They have not made too many changes.
No changes. They haven't brought in anybody this summer yet.
Nothing.
They've only got 20 odd days.
I don't even think they're like tagged with anyone. Like
No, there's been no rumors about them, really.
There's an Anthony Gordon rumor from Newcastle. That was about it. He's a Liverpool fan, even though he played for Everton.
I say he's only been up there 2 years and a half now, I believe.
Yeah,
it is,
there was a rumor about him early on. And then again, it's just there's a lot of those players like Man United. Bruno Fernandes, Martinez, Zerki, Luke Shaw, Kobe Manu. They only just came back on Saturday.
Yep.
So a lot of the other players for other clubs are doing the same thing as well. So, but it was good. I mean, it was good. It was good atmosphere.
77,000 fans there in Charlotte, by the way. I mean, that's it ain't.
It was.
Oh, yeah, at the football stadium?
It was, and it was. It was packed getting out of there.
It's
as
a good
well.
atmosphere when Charlotte FC plays there.
So it was good.
Nice. So also this weekend, kind of a big game: Chelsea versus Man City. Man City
Spanked him, didn't he?
4-2. Erling Haaland with a hat trick. Looks like he's doing well.
Chelsea
that
hasn't
was
won
in
a game either.
Ohio. Say again?
Chelsea hasn't won a game either.
Oh, man.
No, they haven't won a game either.
Finishing below 10th this year.
Yeah, at least they drew one. Man City, 4-2 winners, 70,000 fans in Ohio. Again, I don't think they're too concerned. They're missing quite a few of their players as well, who are in the Euros or in Copa. So
He wasn't happy. Pep wasn't happy against Barcelona the other night. He ripped into the players and he was visibly upset during the preseason game, which I thought was quite funny. But they turned it on against Chelsea. I watched the highlights. They played really well.
Yep.
And Haaland scored 3 bangers. So
and Jack Grealish has been playing very well for Man City, by the way.
So the
Scoring a lot of
interesting
goals.
thing about Jack Grealish, I'll share this for 30 seconds, was that he's come out in a recent interview and said that he was absolutely heartbroken at the fact that he was left out of the squad because he felt like he had
Euros.
left out of the squad for the Euros, and he felt like he had something to offer. And when he found out that he was left out, everybody thought that he was going to go on a party run. Jack Grealish is
Jack being Jack.
Jack being Jack.
Is he a party guy?
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
He loves a drink.
Oh yeah.
All right.
He loves a drink. But he actually went away. He went away with his girlfriend and some family members over to Marbella and Spain and Portugal and all that sort of stuff. And he trained all summer.
Good.
On his fitness work.
And he looks in good
looks
shape too.
really
And he
good at the
scored some
minute,
goals.
yeah. So-
It's gonna be. I think he's had to do that because remember last year he got injured and he lost his spot in the squad a couple of times. Doku came in. Now they got another young kid who's been playing down in that position as well. So he may see the writing on the wall and said, I gotta put my nose down and really get
But
some
he's
work
been
here.
playing well.
Yeah. So, but again, preseason games. I don't know. It is odd. Danny, you traveled. I traveled. We both watched our teams lose. Not play particularly well. We see the issues that are there, but in the end, we both understand that it's a preseason game. It's preseason. There are other things going on
they
here.
were testing things. I think the nice thing for me, and I'm sure it was for you as well, is that I got to see some academy players that I'd watched on MUTV last year play.
Yeah.
You know, like Dan Fish and, Bennett played at the back yesterday. They brought on a couple more youngsters. Ethan Wheatley, who's been an absolute terrorizer as a forward.
I like that name, Ethan Wheatley.
Yeah, he's like 18-year-old. He came on and did some stuff. So it was nice for me to see some of the young lads come through.
It is, but also, just as you're with your squad, with my squad, some of the big names aren't there. For us, Emi Martinez is still back in England after going into the long haul with Copa there in Argentina. Ali Watkins hasn't joined up with the squad yet. We still have Mings and Bouba Kamara who are coming off injuries. They're getting rehab. So Ezri Konsa with England in the Euros hasn't joined up. So we were missing pretty much the spine of our team. 3 major players because they played long into the tournaments were happening. And that's what happens. It is what it is. It's best to give them time to let them relax and not put extra miles on their body for preseason games that absolutely mean nothing. From your guys' standpoint, Manchester United, good to see Rashford back on the field because it was reported the other day that he had an injury and could be out for weeks, but looks like he's fit and all right. So good there.
He only played 45 minutes, but he looked good.
Yeah.
He looked good in that 45 minutes.
You've got to hope that he does exactly what Jack Grealish did. Has gone away, put his head down and said,
We heard that he did. I mean, we heard that he did. He went away and he got his head down and he worked hard. And I think, with Marcus, just obviously watching him come through the academy and burst onto the first team under Van Gaal, Marcus has always been. It's never been a question of talent. It's never been a question of finishing capabilities. I watched him in the warm-up yesterday. Oh, my God, he was hitting absolute lasers from 20, 25 yards out inside the box, wasn't missing. What Marcus Rashford's problem's always been between the ears.
Yep.
Always.
That and just the commitment. Is he going to show up today?
Yeah,
Are you going to put in a fucking effort today? Yeah. And then, you're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
It's just, I think part of the problem is, and some of these lads, and maybe it's something structurally they need to go to. It's a deeper conversation, but like we scoffed, didn't we, a couple of years? Well, this past year when Chelsea were giving out 8-year contracts. Yeah. There's no incentive for a player to play well over an 8-year contract.
No.
If you give a professional a 12-month rolling contract and say look, but
perform or you're out.
Perform or you're gone. Yeah. That's and if that was, it's unrealistic, but if that was FIFA and UEFA wide, then players would be like, fuck, I'm gonna work hard here.
That would make it more entertaining for the fans as well, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Way more entertaining.
Giving out baseball contracts now.
Oh,
it's
10 and 8.
I'm
just saying
silly.
it's stupid.
It's just silly. But if I'm a 5-year
five-year
contract at Manchester United, I'm on $200,000 a week.
Yeah.
It's interesting. By the way, breaking news. I don't know if you've got a little siren board.
Sorry.
Conor Gallagher has verbally agreed to terms and will be joining Atletico Madrid. Two premiership teams in the last 24 hours came in and tried to hijack that deal. So just so everybody's aware, Conor Gallagher has been offered 2 contracts, but very short term by Chelsea in the last several months. He's turned them down, so they looked to sell him. Atletico Madrid came in within about 3 days ago, made an offer.
Is he going to want to press in that system?
Chelsea accepted the offer. They went to They gave Conor Gallagher the terms, and he took his time saying yes. He said
that's a good move for him.
I think it's a great move for him. But I would like to know the teams that came in for him in the last 24 hours. 2 Premiership teams. So he turned the 2 Premiership teams down. I do know he turned down Aston Villa about 3 to 4 weeks ago.
I bet it was Tottenham.
Probably Tottenham. Villa came in and they wanted him, but from what I understand, Villa and Chelsea had agreed a fee. Villa then went to Conor Gallagher and tried to negotiate terms, and he said no.
I think it's a good move for him, to be honest with you. I think it's a really good move.
It's an interesting move.
Yeah,
it's a very interesting move.
But I think with the way he was treated this past year,
disgusting,
right,
wasn't it?
at Chelsea, because Pochettino made a statement, didn't he, making him captain, and said that this is a young player for the future. We want to keep him, blah 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 blah, and they didn't offer him a new contract.
Part of the reason Conor Gallagher probably wanted to leave. Part of the reason, most likely, that Chelsea and Pochettino parted ways.
Yeah.
They said, "Wait a minute, we're trying to get rid of him, and you go ahead and give him the captaincy for several games."
Actually, that
What's
was
that about?
one of the key reasons.
Yeah.
Pochettino felt that he was being slighted because they were wanting to get rid of not only him but a couple other players that he liked.
Yeah.
And he was just like, fine, then I'm done.
And you can see this is what's happening when
Because
sporting
Sal-
directors come
Sal's
in and
left,
do
hasn't he?
this. This is what happens. Sporting directors and people in this, sit in
Sal.
an executive box, come in and make these decisions, and the coach doesn't agree with it because they're not all on the same page.
The Atletico Madrid player, captain for years, Sal, he's left. He's
Oh.
gone. He went to Sevilla.
Oh, you're
That's
right.
right.
Yeah.
He left to go to Sevilla, so there's a gap in that midfield. And I mean, any professional footballer that's a central midfielder, that's got Diego Simeone as a manager who was a central midfielder, you're thinking, yeah,
You're gonna run a lot.
I'd like to go there.
The only thing I will say is Conor Gallagher is almost your typical English player. He won't fall over when he's kicked. He tries to play through it. Atletico Madrid play a very distinct dark arts type game. A defensive, we're going to let the other team, the opposition, have the ball majority here. We're going to win it back and then go. It's going to be interesting to see how he fits in with them, but they've been on his trail for the last couple of weeks and finally got their man. So that is official per Fabrizio Romano. He is off to Atletico Madrid. So good for Conor Gallagher. All right, we got a couple of other things to get to. We are going to quickly show the running race that we did in a little bit here. We've got, so the four of us did a running race. We were going to show that right after this. I'm Craig Hearn. Today, I'm here with the football doc, Dr. Zachary Atwood. He's going to show me some simple exercises and stretches to do before my soccer games. Because to be honest, I'm getting a little older and I need to be better prepared for these games. All right, he's got some stuff he's going to show us. Let's jump in.
What's up guys, Dr. Zach here with Craig. We're going through a dynamic warm-up here. Super important, especially in this age group as we get older. A lot of guys that I see, they go right from their car and straight to the field without any warm-up. We want to make sure that we're getting the body warm, we're getting loose, we get the heart rate up so that we can help reduce injuries. All right guys, so I've got Craig currently doing some grass sweeps. He's doing a Frankenstein stretch and he's also going through some pogos right now. Whoa, Craig, what the hell?
Yep, sorry, Doc.
All this newfangled dynamic warm-up, this and that. What's wrong with my old warm-up? Oh, yeah, the doc was right. Definitely need the new warm-up. Oh, good Lord. All right, before we show the video here, big thank you to our partners that help We Are Soccer. Big thank you to Soccer World. Big thank you to Next Level Training. Big thank you to the Michigan Jaguars. Huge, huge thank you to Thomas McGee's and the Football Doc. And also one of our newest partners and sponsors, the Fab Football Academy. Be sure to check them out. Big thank you, guys. We appreciate it. You're a big part of what we do here. Offhanded comment a couple of weeks ago, I happened to mention that I still play soccer and I'm fast and I've always been fast. And Nate across the table says, I could beat you in a running race. Well, I couldn't let that slide. So, yep, we took the camera down to the local soccer field and we had a running race. Who do you think won? I think you'll have to watch to find out. Check out to see who won this race as the four of us decided to put our running boots on.
Hey, Nate, remember when you said you could beat me in a race? How funny was that? You were joking, right?
I wasn't joking.
Danny, can you believe he thinks he can beat me in a race?
Craigie, you are so slow. You are slower than pond water.
All right, it's on. Let's go, boys. We're going down to the field now.
I'll just come for the exercise.
Well, as you can see, Brooks won. Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah, you know.
You were definitely the fastest on the day. Some of us other guys get distracted easily by weights, beer, and looking at ourselves in a mirror. That's the way it goes with us. All right, we do want to get to a couple of other
We need a
things.
new producer, by the way.
Yeah.
Wait.
Who?
One that doesn't give HJs to the host, so he then wins races.
Whoa.
Whoa. Family show.
I was
spreading-
pretty PC about that.
Stop spreading
could've gone-
rumors.
hold on. I could have gone way worse.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I think we should
See?
actually do a race next time.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Actually do a race.
How many yards would we make the actual race? Like just the 50 yards?
Just the length of the field.
Yeah, the 7v7 fields?
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I played 2 full 90 games this week
Okay.
and trained on Wednesday and
Is that a
work
good
out
thing or
every
a
single
bad thing?
day.
That's great. Endurance has got absolutely nothing to do with the 70-yard sprint.
Yep.
We'll do it with
We'll
a ball
go.
and without a ball.
Oh, shit.
Well, I never have a ball at my
Without the
from
ball
where
in
I
my
play,
boot.
so
That's true.
you put the ball at your foot,
Brooks can
and I'll
carry
run
the
you
ball.
and I'll run you down.
I was a goalkeeper, so I'll carry the ball.
Yeah. All right. So listen, this past week, Emile Smith-Rowe has officially left Arsenal. He joins Fulham. £27 million, 7 million add-ons and clauses. Arsenal had inserted in there a 10% sell-on fee as well. Personally, I think this is a great move for both sides, both teams and the player, everybody involved. I think this works out really well.
I don't know.
Really?
I really don't know.
No, tell me why, because I think it is.
Do you know what? Do you know what this reminds me of?
Uh-oh.
Jack Wilshere.
Oh, wow.
It screams Jack Wilshere, super talented academy player coming through, always injured,
Always. Both.
always injured.
Yep.
Can't get ahead, moves clubs as Wilshere did,
Yep. And then gets crocked.
and gets crocked again.
Yep.
You know,
Didn't he kind of find form with Juventus a little bit?
I mean, no.
No?
No.
I thought there was like one year where he was okay.
no, he was always injured.
No.
He's
Okay.
really good in FIFA when I put him.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Uh,
you're right. I
My video game.
haven't thought about the Jack Wilshere,
I mean,
but
super talented
he
kid. and
just
all that sort
hasn't
of
been
stuff.
able to stay healthy for last year. Now, I don't know if anybody remember, but Aston Villa actually bid £50 million for him 2 years ago. Arsenal turned it down. Arsenal said, no, this kid's got something.
Smith-Rowe?
For Smith-Rowe, Emile
Yeah.
Smith-Rowe. Yeah, Villa wanted him. Villa wanted him. They highly rated him. He would have been the centerpiece of the team 2 years ago.
Yeah, but I think Arsenal with Rice and Odegaard and all that sort of stuff. I mean, he's definitely down the pecking order.
Absolutely.
In that role, and Fulham need it in terms of creativity. But it just comes back to whether he can stay fit or not.
That's a lot of money for Fulham, by the way. That's a lot of money for Fulham to spend on a
those
player who has been injured for 2
I
years.
think that was a record signing.
It was, yeah,
Is
a
it?
record signing, yeah.
I mean, and I don't think the 7 million add-ons will hit because I think he will be injured. But I think what it does is, if you think about it from this standpoint, from his standpoint, Emile Smith-Rowe, there's a lot of pressure to play at Arsenal. There's a lot of people ahead of you in the pecking order. That's a bigger stadium. That is Champions League. You're expected no matter. He was getting League Cup games. He was getting reserve games. He was getting minutes towards the end of the season in a couple of games here and there. But now he's going to come into Fulham. It's a smaller club, obviously, compared to Arsenal. You play in front of about 15,000 at Craven Cottage every week. I think it's going to be a good situation for him. There's not going to be as much pressure on him. I think it's a great situation for everybody involved. But Danny, you're right. He could turn out to be the next Jack Wilshere.
Could be.
Which, you know what? You got to cross your fingers and say, I hope not, because
Because he was a good,
really good player.
he made his England debut a couple of years ago. I mean, the kid's got talent.
Absolutely, he does. So, fingers crossed, everything goes well there. Excuse me. About to be locked up tomorrow morning. Medical already set. Nicholas Füllkrug to West Ham from Borussia Dortmund. That is a really interesting move, Nate. It's been on the cards for about a week and a half now. It's an interesting move. I thought he was really going to blossom and become a centerpiece at Borussia Dortmund.
Yeah, until they got a better player.
But you gotta. I mean,
I
you
mean,
got a better player. But what happens when better player gets crocked and does a knee or something, right? Füllkrug seems like a bit of a tank.
Who did Dortmund get?
they got Galatasaray from
Galatasaray.
Stuttgart.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
How do you think Nicholas Füllkrug is going to do at West Ham in the Premiership?
So, I mean, first thing, Dortmund have an abundance of strikers still there with Adamani,
Yep,
with
Adamani's a big one right now.
Mullen, with Mukuku still there. So I think Dortmund's got, honestly, I think Dortmund made some really good moves this year with signing him, Pascal Gross, and Anton from Stuttgart. They basically upgraded in the midfield forward. And
Pascal Gross is a great signing,
Yep.
in my opinion.
Yep.
Great signing for them.
Sometimes our seagulls got to fly, Craig.
So
And he's going off to somewhere bigger and better.
back to Fulkrug.
No, we just matured him.
I don't know about this one.
You don't.
I don't know about this.
No.
Because he
Okay,
is.
Hold on. Was he not one of the better strikers for the?
No, he was not.
Play two
Well,
different styles of football as
That's-
well, don't they?
yeah,
West
they
Ham
do.
and Dortmund.
They do. And the problem is he is a real physical forward.
He is.
He's great for the national team.
There's
When
bit-
he's coming off the bench, he's
a bit
he's
like
great for the national
Antonio.
team.
A bit like Antonio for West Ham, though. No,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, but
like,
two different styles of play.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like,
Is there more
Good
service
teams
at
for
West
sure.
Two
Ham?
different teams. Well, I mean, now
He's
that
the guy you want to throw service into for headers. He's
No,
definitely one of that.
Well, it just depends. David Moyes, absolutely at the helm.
Yeah, but
it's
now
not. It's
without Moyes
Lopetegui.
there, who knows what they're going to play?
It's Letebu.
can't remember how to pronounce his name.
Letekipu is what
Yeah.
it's called.
But I'm interested to see how he does because he's a player in that Champions League final. I thought he could have had a couple of chances. He hit the post on one and fluffed another, but
So
got into the right position.
he is a very physical, big inside and 18 forward.
Yep.
He's been up and down in the Bundesliga. Up
Yep.
and down. He's never been consistent, like awesome. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
in Bremen, he played 30 games, had 16 goals. In 2022, 2021, played 34 and had 19. And then in 2020, he had 6. And in 19, had 4. And in 18, if he was in Hoffenheim, had 3. You know, and like last year, he had 15 out of 43 games. So I don't. It's one of those where it's like it all depends on how West Ham is going to play. He reminds me a lot of that. Who is that? The Netherlands forward, the big Netherlands forward.
Wout Weghorst?
Wout Weghorst, who is an absolute monster inside the 18, and then he went and played against equally physical players like in the Premier League.
And it didn't work out so
And
well.
you're not going to push around everyone like that. So that's the downside. But the positive side is, yeah, I mean, if he can replicate a little bit what he did last year, and maybe on a better team of West Ham, and maybe inside an 18, maybe he does well. It's a I don't know. I think Dortmund got better, and I didn't see them losing Fulkrug as that big of a deal.
Okay,
Put it that way.
interesting. Are you,
You know?
are you interested in watching him in the Premiership and see how he handles it and see how he actually?
Oh, yeah.
At the end of the season, you go, "That was a bust," or "Hey, whoa, look at this! He actually made this team better and actually did
It's
well."
always there's always one or two signings that come in that
Yeah.
you think, whoa, that's an interesting one.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wonder how that's going to go. And maybe you go like, I don't think he's going to do really well. And then halfway through the season, you're going, what a great signing.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
there's always a surprise.
Yep.
You know,
This
and
could
he-
be the
and He
surprise.
could be one of them.
He
but I
could
don't
be a surprise,
Yep. All right,
but he could be a bust.
or it could be a bust.
Well, you know.
Adrien Rabiot is the French midfielder is heading to either Real Madrid or Athletic Madrid as he let his contract at Juventus expire.
How about Juventus cleaning house?
Yeah, Juventus.
Well, he was at PSG though, Rabo, wasn't he? Or no, he was, at
at one
Juventus.
point, but he was at
Juve.
Juventus.
Yeah.
Let his contract expire. He didn't want to sign a new one, and now he's probably heading towards
Juventus are under financial fair play regulations at the moment. They're
Yeah.
they're
So they're like
4 or 5 players they've
7.
left off the squad and said, "Get
Yeah.
find
There's like
it."
7 they want to get rid of. Weston McKennie being one of them.
they're in real trouble. Of the two, I would probably say with that breaking news earlier from Fabrizio Romano, I would probably say Real Madrid, only because the fact that Toni Kroos retired.
I was about to say because Toni Kroos left, they haven't really filled that hole. And I
Modric
think,
signed for another year.
Yep.
Tuchemani's been playing as a centre back at Real Madrid. You know, so they've got Modric in the middle of midfield, Bellingham, Adrien Rabiot. Potentially
Another old
you know,
midfielder.
and Avelade, unbelievable player as well. So, they could probably use it in there. I think Rabiot was talking to Man United for the last couple of
He
years.
was
as
the
well.
problem. The problem
gonna
is
say,
his
I think that- I
contract.
I heard that. I
is-
saw that.
He wants so much money.
United
that,
doesn't know, right?
Yeah, they're just like no, because and that was also the issue with him in Juventus is he wants like 160, 170 a week or something like that, like an absurd amount of money.
Don't think he's ever been that type of player.
He's very consistent.
Not worth it.
He's very consistent, but he's not worth that much money.
Yeah.
Well, there's a club that'll pay it, and it's probably going to be Real Madrid, especially now that they don't have to pay a transfer fee.
Yeah.
So it looks like he'll be heading there. Keep
Or maybe the
tabs on
Saudi league.
I don't know if he's that type of player. I think he's got a couple of more
That's fair.
years to offer, and I think he
Played well in the
seems-
Euros. I mean,
Yeah,
he played really well in the Euros.
I say he looks like he's probably going to stick around Europe, and I'm going to guess Real Madrid to be the one he goes to, especially with the breaking news of Conor Gallagher and Athletic Madrid. All right, you'll never guess who won German Footballer of the Year. Never. You never guess it. Yes. Is it that midfielder who just retired?
Was it a German?
Was it a German guy?
Tony Cruz?
Tony Cruz.
Oh. I was going to guess Nate.
What a shock! Tony Cruz wins German Football of the Year. It was like some big announcement today, and I went, really? Because you
Can I just say something?
seen that
about,
coming a mile away.
Can I just say something about Tony Cruz? What an unbelievably talented footballer.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And I think one of the biggest compliments that I could give him, and it was really derived from Zinedine Zidane when he talked about Paul Scholes, and I'll put Cruz in that same category as Paul Scholes. He absolutely controls the game, knows when to speed the game up, knows when to slow the game down, gets into the right positions, and is always available.
Yep.
Always available.
It's weird because in the first game of the Euros, they played Scotland, and you would think, well, clearly you're going to mark that man. Why are you not marking that man? And then you disappear, and you're like, wait, he's open again. How does he get open? He is so good at getting open when everybody knows he's on the field.
Talking about
And he
like
controls
really
the game.
quality world footballers that you would say, okay, well, if you were putting this in terms of like, quarterback terms of a player that is just controlling a game or controlling a team, you're looking at a Tony Cruz, you're looking at a Rodri at Man City. Just absolute.
I have some breaking news.
Oh,
Okay.
Yep.
Craig drinks like a child and has dribbled on his new jersey.
I wish I could tell you. It did dribble a little bit,
Yeah.
but that's sweat as well.
No, that's
Honest
dribble.
here.
That's dribble.
I would
caught you.
for
You
Cruz-
broke. I was mid train thought. Then you broke that.
It's
You broke-
breaking news.
Breaking news for that.
It's
I was
dribble.
the uniqueness of Tony Cruz for me was he was a German player that had a lot of Spanish playing style instincts, and I think that's very unique when kind of players from different countries over they cross over with their skills and skill
I will recommend to people out there. There is a Tony Cruz documentary. I believe it's on Netflix. It's about 2.5 years old now.
What language is that in?
It is in German.
I'm out.
It does have subtitles. It does have subtitles.
I am not reading the TV.
I know. But it is.
Michelle can read you what's saying.
Shut it.
Yeah, actually,
Can I
read?
do you want to watch the Cruise documentary and you just read it to me?
Da.
You just okay.
Highly recommend.
your wife
it.
not
It
watching.
is, it is really, really well done.
Yeah.
Gives you some insight into him as a family man, behind the scenes, the stuff he takes, and why he moved to Real Madrid and how that all came about. So, but Tony Cruz, German Footballer of the Year. Stevie Wonder could have seen that coming. That was an easy one. All right, listen.
No, he can't. He's blind.
No, okay. Yeah, that's.
I'm not. Do you know that?
Do I know that he's blind?
Yeah. You can't see anything coming. It's kind of insensitive.
That's why we're on late at night.
Weird.
Yeah. All right, onwards. Some rumors. We're going to talk rumors and transfer news. Arsenal could be joining the race for Napoli's Victor Osimhen.
No.
So they've sold some players recently. And he wants to move to London.
No.
Nate.
He's going anyway. I'll go to Chelsea.
Well, the Chelsea's still in there, but it hasn't happened yet.
So I don't want to steal any thunder. Have you heard any other? Is there any other Arsenal rumors on there? Because I got one.
Hold on.
You'll get an applause.
They have rejected a bid for.
No.
No, go for it. Read it off. Who you got?
So from a very reliable German source, the same one that said Harry Maguire to Munich.
Oh.
Harry Kane.
Or Harry Kane, sorry, to Munich.
Yeah, we know what you
The
meant.
same one that said Nkunku to Chelsea before it happened.
So you've got someone
they're-
who's knowing what's going on. And
No,
is
it's just
talking to you.
it's a very, very good. It's not that I know him. A very good
Okay.
inside group that
This is quite the build-up.
Yeah.
It's quite the build-up. It better be fucking good.
Sané to Arsenal is on the board.
Who?
Leonard Sané
Oh,
Munich.
Sane.
Sane.
Sane?
To Arsenal is because apparently because of all the players they bought, he wants to move on.
play him?
So Leroy, huh?
Where are they going to play him?
On the right, possibly.
That's
Ahead of Saka?
Yeah, take his spot. Sure, why not?
Maybe
Not
on the
a
left.
chance.
He plays the right or the left.
Ahead of Maserati?
no Martinelli.
Martinelli, yeah.
So
Don't they need a left back?
there is
They do, but
high,
they also play left back.
high rumors
got the pace.
that they're considering him to come in. He can also play forward at times too. And
Well, they need that.
They do need that, but he's not a true forward,
Hold on.
right?
The big motivating factor is his wife has never settled in Munich.
Oh.
She is from America, and apparently there was an issues and everything like that. And
Language barrier?
and she would much more fancy a move out of Germany
Yep.
into England, and the issues even have been like she's not living in Germany, and so he's looking strongly back into a move back into England, and Arsenal, I guess, is the destination.
What would he cost? What the value on him
So
must be
it's a
60 or 70.
but
It
it's-
dropped a lot,
No,
that's
no,
for
no,
sure.
not a,
Leroy Sané?
I think it's dropped since
his
since when-
age plus the fire sale that Munich has put themselves in, where now they have players and they're buying positionally buying players before allowing the old guard to move. They're buying the new guard in, which is why United's looking at De Ligt and going,
Yeah, we'll buy him on the cheap.
we're going to buy him cheap because
gonna haggle.
you have 7 center backs and now he doesn't want to be there. So that's like kind of the same thing where they have all these outside players now and you can't get anything for Gnabry because he doesn't warrant much.
I bet United get those. I bet United get De Ligt and Mazzari.
Mazzari,
I bet they get both of them for about 50.
that's
Combined?
well, hold on.
Combined, yeah.
Hold on.
Wow.
Combined, they're saying right now it's 60,
I bet
and
they
that's
get-
what they've rejected. So 50 could
I
be
bet they
that
get 'em for
number.
about 50.
I think it'll be 50 with some add-ons here and there and a sell-on clause if that happens.
And that's what United's looking at is about 50 with clauses. So anyways,
And I bet you they've told both players not to accept any other terms from any other club
Yep.
because they're down the pecking order.
I can tell you from the same source, they basically said De Ligt is refusing to speak to any other club and
Besides-
saying, "I'm just going to wait for United. Thank you."
Yeah.
And so so this is the situation that's actually Munich has put themselves in by buying these players before moving the old ones out, where they're just going.
They've put themselves into losing about 10 to 40
Yep.
million pounds.
So
or
that was
euros.
we'll see if it comes true like the other ones have come true, but that is a pretty
the
strong
Leroy
rumor.
Sané one just confuses me because it's not the position they're looking for. They need a true forward. And that rumor of Victor Osimhen, them entering the Victor Osimhen, because right now
I don't think they've got the money.
they've rejected a bid of 27 million for Eddie Nketiah. They want 35 million with a sell-on clause. They just sold Emile Smith-Rowe for 27 with so they're looking at bringing in, 50 to 55 million right there. So now
Selling those two players would suggest that they are looking for a forward, but I don't think they can afford Osimhen.
I don't think they can either.
Did they
But-
get rid of Raya?
Who?
One of the goalkeepers?
No, they
Raya?
bought Raya.
Raya comes in officially.
Is Ramsdale going?
No, that hasn't happened yet. So
Okay, because
everyone's
like
still-
there you could make up the money because Ramsdale wants to start.
Ramsdale, you're not getting more than.
I think that's why
25.
Liverpool are in the situation that they're in right now. This summer has been madness. I mean, even City haven't signed any big names.
I don't think City really need to at the moment. They're waiting. They did just sign 2 players, but one
Two
was
young lads, like
fifth-
two academy lads.
One was in the 40 to 50, and I can't remember his name. No, you're not wrong, though. But I think a lot of it has to do with the PSR that's coming to play, and everybody's having to look forward to next year, right? So City, what they've done in the past several years is put themselves in a good position where they don't need to. The Julian Alvarez thing very much confuses me. Julian Alvarez is negotiating with other clubs and saying, I don't know if I want to play for City. City need to put their foot down and go, F you, you're a player, you signed a contract, get to camp, son. Come in here. But Pep's going, well, he's figuring out. We'll see what happens.
I mean, wants a new challenge.
I'm confused with that one. Now, Victor Osimhen, there was a release clause of 150 million there. We know that. But Napoli have also had conversations with him, and he hasn't been back in camp, and he wants to leave. So I think that fee is going to come down. I think we're still into the range of 100 to 120.
I thought PSG was still in for him.
PSG, Chelsea, and now entering the race is Arsenal.
Last I heard is he rejected PSG because he favored Chelsea.
Maybe, maybe
Chelsea have
actually
enough money?
wants to play in the
Chelsea have more
Premiership.
money than
Maybe he
God,
wants
mate.
to have. Maybe he wants to play in the Premiership and doesn't want to play in League One. I mean, which it's a one league, one
Right.
one horse race in that league. So good for him if that's true. But I mean, I wouldn't put it past Arsenal to try hijack it at the last minute. They're not going to be able to pay the wages that Chelsea.
That worked out real well for Arsenal with Mudryk.
Well, we'll see what happens. Lots to get to there. Tottenham and Dominic Solanke of Bournemouth.
Ooh.
So Dominic Solanke from Bournemouth could be heading towards Tottenham. Tottenham were willing to offer players and a little bit of cash in the other direction. This actually makes a lot of sense to me. Dominic Solanke last year scored 17 goals in the Premiership with Bournemouth. He did really well against some really big teams.
It makes sense if you're sending Timo Werner the other way because you've just brought him in again for another year on loan, right?
Yes, they have.
Why do you sound that like with disgust?
What?
This is Bournemouth. They scored goals with them.
No, but it's not exactly a team that has a lot of firepower, and he was their only option.
Yeah.
So he doesn't get as many options. He would get more options to score, probably get more balls into the box than he would with Bournemouth. So I think
That's higher praise for him if he can score with nothing around him.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a good move.
That's a typical Tottenham signing.
Yeah.
A second-rate forward.
Yeah.
I mean, in theory,
because
it is.
because they're rivals.
What if he goes in there and isn't second rate?
But we just mentioned
second
Tottenham's
rate now, though.
we just mentioned Tottenham's biggest rivals, Arsenal, and they're going after one of the top strikers in the world. And what are Tottenham doing? A second-rate striker. Now,
he would probably turn around and argue that he's Premier League proven, that he's got 17
To be
goals in
fair,
30 games, blah blah blah, playing for Bournemouth. But again, it's just
you're going to get him for like 30
you've replaced Harry Kane with Timo Werner.
Why? Why did you do that?
So you've
I
done
even
that.
said that wasn't going to work.
Maybe Ange sees the light with Solanke.
You've done that, and then you didn't really replace him in the summer.
Did they really bring Werner back?
They did.
For a year on loan.
Did, on loan again.
Again?
Why?
I don't know.
Because they needed somebody to put in the middle.
Because they want to finish 7th this year.
Why?
Because Son can't play down the middle.
I think Son should be considering his options and should in the next year get the F out.
God,
He's the loyal guy.
He is too loyal.
Such a sucker.
He's so good. All right,
Like
so
Harry Kane, very loyal.
I think the Victor Osimhen domino is the big one. When that falls, everything else falls around it. Because then I think the Solanke one falls. Then I think the Lukaku one falls. And right now, Lukaku has his eyes set on Napoli. He would replace Victor Osimhen. Victor,
Is he choosing Napoli over Villa because he wants to go to a powerhouse of a team?
Apparently,
I would rather sign Craig than Lukaku.
Oh, I would definitely sign Craig over Lukaku.
Yeah.
I might even sign Brooks over Lukaku.
Whoa.
I mean, at least you have heart and passion.
I do.
I mean, Osimhen.
And I'm not going to have to worry about your fitness.
Osimhen.
Yeah, I know.
and he wins running races.
Osimhen to Chelsea and Lukaku to Napoli going the other way. That's a typical Chelsea move.
It is.
Chelsea's done it
Napoli.
before.
You know what? I mean, if I'm Lukaku, I would rather go to Napoli than Villa or anybody else because
Don't they have the former RP Leipzig player coming back as well from injury?
Who?
Akuku.
Nakuku? Yeah, where Chelsea actually is playing right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he started in their last match.
Yeah.
Yep. You're still hoping he's going to be the.
And they've still got Nicholas Jackson. They didn't sell him in Newcastle.
They ruined him.
Oh, man.
They couldn't give him away.
Chelsea has broken Nkunku.
Yes, they broke him, and they can't give Nicholas Jackson away.
We broke into the
Chelsea
new
can't give
toy.
him away.
Chelsea is no longer Nkunku is no longer new. He's just cuckoo over at Chelsea.
Cuckoo.
He's bro cuckoo.
That was a promising player that was lighting the world on fire, and they destroyed him.
Yeah.
Another one.
Just crushed him.
Why do you think I don't like that club?
I just thought you didn't like
Anymore.
the American owner.
I
all
don't
right.
like him. Yeah, that's true.
One other rumor out there, Benfica cannot meet the selling price that Atletico Madrid want for João Felix. João Felix, Atletico Madrid don't want him either. So he's going to have to move. The Villa still are apparently in talks. I don't see that happening.
I don't like that move.
I'm
for his money.
Sure if I like it either. I
Not
don't
for
know.
his money.
I have
How old is João Felix, by the way? Like late 20s?
23? No.
Wait, he's younger than 25.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And really, he's going to go to play for Benfica.
He's a
No, they can't afford him.
Well,
He's a-
I'm just saying, even them in the mix sounds crazy because, like, you kind of start there, then you leave, and then you kind of go back there to finish your career.
Well, what were you saying, Danny?
That was just that was just a really silly move by Atletico Madrid a couple of years ago.
Big money for him.
Big money for a
Like
kid
overpaid.
that was sort of like unproven, bit of a superstar in the making, but sort of unproven, and you've dropped a ton of money on him like that.
And now you got to get rid of him.
You know,
Failed
and he's
fit
on a
in.
high wage, and he went to Barca last year, and they wanted him, but Madrid wanted too much money for him.
Yep.
He was at
No.
Chelsea, and they paid for the loan move, and they paid a lot of money, but he got injured and did some
It
petulant
just
things.
screams João Coutinho to me. You know,
I was
same
about
sort of
Philip Coutinho.
situation,
It's a Philip Coutinho
Philip
type
Coutinho,
situation.
yeah.
Yeah, and we see how that worked out at Villa, by the way. The first couple of games, he was magic, and then all of a sudden he dropped off the face of the earth, and we went, oh, he's injured, or no, he's not injured. He just can't get back into the starting 18, the starting 11 of the 18 of the bench. So,
Fight for your place at Madrid.
Yeah.
my problem is if Unai Emery speaks highly of the player and he wants him, it may happen, but I don't think Villa should pay the money that's being asked. So it's an interesting one for me. It's an interesting one. All right, a couple of last pieces here we're going to get to. We're going to, if I can find it here on my board, we're going to display a new segment here.
What?
I know. This is really gonna help. This is gonna show people another reason why I hate Manchester United.
This is going to be followed by, and water is wet.
Yes.
Okay.
Water is definitely wet. Another reason I hate Manchester United, the media. Yes, the media. We had an example this past week. Fabrizio Romano reporting that Manchester United are purchasing a 16-year-old. Oh my God. Listen, clubs purchase 16-year-olds all the freaking time. Why is it news when Manchester United do it? Why? Because
he's really good.
Clicks and views. That's why. He just wants clicks and views. And you know what?
Actually,
every freaking media outlet does it. Oh, did you hear about the 17-year-old the Villa signed this past week?
Is the 17-year-old going to be your third striker?
He's going to be really good one day.
No. Is the 17-year-old going to be your third striker?
No, he's not a striker.
Is the
Okay,
kid
is the 17-year-old going to get any?
Here we go.
Is the kid that you signed going straight into first team training tomorrow?
Yes. He's already in training.
Is he going to be on the bench?
No.
Okay.
No.
So here's
but why do we report things like that? Why do we report rumors that really aren't rumors, are never going to happen?
It's not a rumor.
Because it's Manchester United and he wants the clicks. No, not that one. I said other rumors.
I can tell you why it was kind of a big deal.
Go for it.
Because it was Arsenal's top academy team.
Everybody wanted the kid. I know who it is.
No, I'm not
that
done.
wasn't the one. Wasn't Obi
I'm not
Martins.
done. I'm not done.
It wasn't Martins.
Okay, so I'll restart.
Okay.
It was Arsenal's top academy kid, right?
Yes.
And it's going to be the first team third striker who's going to be active when, I don't know, like a Hoyland's out. So this kid could actually be playing. So you asked a question.
That's not the player I was talking about.
Who are you talking about?
I can't remember the kid. He was 16. Not Obi Martins. We all knew he was going. We knew who he is.
The young lad from Crystal Palace.
Yes.
He reported them both because they're both unbelievable
Don't need
players.
the other one. Anyway, another reason I hate
He's talking about
Manchester
Obi
United
Martins.
because the media wants clicks. And that's the end of my another reason I hate Manchester
So
United.
you hate Manchester United because they're popular.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
They people the media. No.
Okay,
you
and
listen.
I
It's the media.
and I go back to
Hold on. On behalf of all Man United fans, I'm sorry we're really, really popular.
I love it.
On
Yes,
behalf
Brooks.
of all Manchester United fans, I am happy to report that our club has ruined Craig's childhood.
That is for 3 weeks from now. They ruined a vacation, by the way, and that's probably next week. Vacations, another reason I hate Manchester United.
Wait, what? Like how?
Nate, you watch Family Guy, right?
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Do you watch Family?
Family?
You remember the episode where
but-
Peter becomes the reporter and he has this segment. This really grinds my gears. This is what it sounds like.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. You know what really grinds my gears? And then it's going to be like, you know what really upsets me about Manchester United every Sunday night? It's going to
That
be
was
like
a
that.
Simpsons thing.
Did he just say you stole something from Family Guy?
Apparently.
That's kind of like
Not
it,
really
kind of,
sure.
because all of it's just him ranting. I mean, it was like,
Welcome.
something
That's
similar.
That's pretty
Isn't
much
that
what it
like
is.
what we do for 2 hours?
Yeah, that's pretty much what we do.
Okay.
All right. So a big thank you again to our partners helping us out. Big thank you to Soccer World. Big thank you to Next Level Training. Big thank you to Michigan Jags. Big thank you to Thomas McGee's. Big thank you to Football Doc, Dr. Zachary Atwood. And a big thank you to the Fab Football Academy. Appreciate it. Guys, do us a huge favor. Give us a like, give us a subscription, give us a share. Share this video across the world. We want as many people to see it as we can. Appreciate you. Do us a favor. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. We would very much appreciate it. For me and the boys, we will be back next week. Cheers.
Cheers.